Andrea Mazzei from PaperComp. Today I'm talking about an assemblage of existing techniques in order to extract and classify handwritten annotations on paper documents. So we will start with an introduction comparing annotations on paper and some digital equivalent systems that allow users to do annotations on digital electronic devices. We will see the method in detail for extracting annotation, classifying them, and we will see some preliminary experimental results. And in the end we will see how this classification will be used or will affect an outcome in an experiment that investigates around eye gaze data in rereading paper documents. So we will start with here this is not really a comparison. We have two paper documents. This is a medieval manuscript from the Civil Law of Justiniano. It has been written in the 6th century, lost during the medieval age, found back in the 16th century and adopted in many universities as textbooks. So that students had to study this book, and they had problems in understanding the language. The text itself was very difficult for the comprehension, so that the annotations played a very important role. They were actually called glosses. They were official schools of glossators in charge of putting these annotations on the books to help actually students to understand the content. And these annotations were done for a social purpose, so that these annotators were writing these annotations to help other people to understand the book. Here on the right we have a scientific article, very recent. It has been annotated by a PhD student. So here the annotation, the purpose of the annotation is individual, because the student is annotating this text as using different techniques, and as a memory aid sometimes, and as putting interpretational references, and basically as sometimes as putting complementary information. So the interesting thing is that after centuries the preferred medium is still the paper, and students prefer the paper. The textbooks are on paper, and but still we are assisting to the explosive growth of many digital devices that sort of allows users to read books, to do annotations on digital documents. So the idea would be to compare these two sides, for example, and to actually get what are the benefits on both sides. So basically, annotating on paper, this comparison has been investigated by many researchers. Here I'm citing, it's not really readable, O'Hara and Cavazzi, but there are many papers on this topic. Basically, some of them are that actually annotating on paper is really well integrated with the reading activity, so that we actually write and read annotations in a sort of fluid form. And annotating on paper also allows for concurrent activities on different pages, so that we can go back and forth on the book, and so we don't really need to do it in a sequential manner. And it allows also for fruitful cooperative interactions among students in a teamwork that work on the same document. On the other hand, annotating on digital devices, someone said that is sort of awkward, it's a bit distracting. We have to think about and select the classification, the type of annotation we want to perform on the document. But on the other hand, it's undebatable that there are many advantages that are well known in the digital domain, where files can be easily indexed, reorganized, and easily shared. So the idea would be, how do we blur this separation, or better, how do we bring digital capabilities to our daily interactions with paper documents? So to do this, we have selected a paper from Tomohiro Nakai, University of Osaka, which actually is a method based on computer vision techniques that from a textual image it extracts feature points. These feature points are matched in a database of documents, and so that the document that is under the camera is recognized, very precisely recognized, and there is a pose estimation process, so that this allows for augmentation directly on text, and in our case this allows to extract annotations from the document. The method is very robust. It deals with perspective distortion and uneven illumination. It's also able to deal with, under certain limits, with nonlinear deformations. If you think about the book binding of the book, and even occlusions are really partial occlusions. If you think about hands-on text while we take annotations, the page is still well recognized. Accuracy, they claim an accuracy rate of 97.8% on a database of 10,000 pages. This is quite an impressive result in this topic. The performance allows for real-time interactions, real-time applications. The same author used this method to extract annotations. In a more general approach, the idea is to their method allows to extract color annotations from color documents with a pre-processing using color k-means algorithm, and then we have their method of point matching that we've just seen, and finally the pose estimation is provided by the Ransack algorithm on planar models. The subtraction is a very basic process, and that allows to extract the pixels belonging to the annotations with some noise pixels that are inevitably introduced in the extraction process. Now that we have this mask of annotations, the idea would be, how do we segment them in order to localize them in the local space of the page and to separate them? Because after using the extraction, we have just a big mask of annotations. So, basically we employ the well-known dbScan is a clustering algorithm based on the density notion of cluster. And why do we use this algorithm? Well, basically because an annotation is a set of pixels that is subject to the conditions of spatial adjacency and colorimetric proximity. That means that we will have compact regions, very dense regions of pixels with almost the same color. And this method deals with not known number of clusters. We don't know how many annotations there will be on a page. We don't know what will be the position, the orientation, the size, and the color of the annotation. That's completely variable. And there shouldn't be any bias toward a particular shape. We can have very rectangular regions, like highlighted regions, or very arbitrary pen strokes. And it should handle with noise that is inevitably introduced in the extraction process that we've seen before.